right, we're going to roll right into our time here with Kevin Harvick, driver of the number 4 Stewart Haas Racing Ford. Kevin, this is obviously your last visit here to Charlotte Motor Speedway as a full-time NASCAR Cup Series driver, and I understand that the track has a fan display of cars from your personal collection out for fans to view as they come here to watch you race for the last time. Can you tell us just a little bit more about that collection and how it came to be here?
Yeah, well, we wanted to do something different for the weekend, and I think having my first truck that we built in our garage and the IROC car that we actually won the race, won the championship with in the last race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We've got the All-Star Win car out there, and so just having a unique blend of vehicles, and just when you look at them and you go through time, you're like, man, you really have done this for a long time. You look at the vehicles and they look archaic compared to what you race today. So we thought that would be a fun experience, and everybody at the Speedway and Marcus and really everybody has been a lot of fun to work with, and we have a lot of people here this week. I think we're entertaining 130 people and have our foundation golf tournament. So it's kind of become a little bit of a home game for us in our events, and fun to see the participation, and just wanted to do something different this week.
Awesome. Well, we'll go right into questions for you now, and we'll start right here with Mike Hembry in the front.
Mike Hembry, Auto Week. You're coming into the final weeks. Are you trying to savor everything a little more? Are you thinking about that? Are you crying yourself to sleep at night because it's almost over, that kind of stuff? Or do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I'm excited for it to be over. I think as I go to each racetrack, it's fun to be able to celebrate and do the things that you need to do, and I'm enjoying the time that I have with the guys, and seeing and hearing what they're going to do next, and how things are going to shake out, and it's a very interesting process just because of going to the racetrack and competing. But a lot of the guys have been there for 10 years, and some of them have been there for 5 years, and so it's just an interesting process to go through. And I think obviously you want to run well and do the things that you do on the racetrack, and everybody's doing fine at that, and it's just a matter of getting through these next 5 weeks and enjoying it. That's really, for me, what it's about, is enjoying each week for different reasons, and we're going to be heavily involved in the sport and industry for a long time to come with several different aspects of it, and so you try to take the driving thing and do what you've done for the last however many years, 22 years at the Cup level, and enjoy that part of it. But I think in my mind there's just a tremendous amount of stuff that's already happening for what we do going forward.
We'll go next to Bob.
But I'm not
Hockers.
crying myself to sleep.
We'll go next to Bob.
Bob Hockers, Fox Sports. Did you think NASCAR's decision to DQ your car at Talladega was just, and did you have any feelings when you heard?
I mean, obviously, you don't want to be in the middle of those situations, but I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. I can see it both ways, and so it's just I did my job. I don't know any other way to say that. I did my job, and the rest of it is open for debate as to who did what, and the rules good or bad, or I don't know. I don't know all the scenarios from either side. So I hear it from both sides, and can see it from both sides in some way, shape, or form. So, but I didn't dig deep into whether it was just or unjust. I just went home and heard the news like everybody else, and I went on with my week. I didn't cry myself to sleep over that either.
We'll go next to Al Pierce.
Yeah, Kevin, Al Pierce. A couple of 3 years ago, you were very high and very enthusiastic about Haley Degan. She's had a couple of 3-4 bad years in trucks. Do you still feel that she is ready to move to Xfinity? Are you as optimistic about her now?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't paid that much attention to give a fair opinion. I pay attention to our guys in our group, and there's 8 of them. So trying to keep up with late model races and truck races and Xfinity races, I have paid no attention to the details of what come with that particular situation with Haley. So I'd be a terrible judge. I can be a pretty good critic of the guys that we have in our group and the 3 that race on our team at SHR, but outside of that, it'd be an unfair opinion.
All right, we'll go next to Jordan Bianchi.
Jordan Bianchi with The Athletic. Kind of putting your analyst hat on, if you will, when you look at the round of 8, is there 2, 3 drivers or teams you look at and say, man, if they don't get to Phoenix, there's something wrong?
I don't think you can put it like that. Just you saw the trouble that Martin got into with everything that happened to him, and that can happen to anybody. And I think as you go to any of these racetracks, it can really go that way. So it's just it's an interesting group of tracks that in each round it's just interesting in different ways. And I think there's different guys that have different strengths at different racetracks. And so for me that part is interesting because you go to Homestead and you look at the 5 and you're like, well, there's really no reason that he shouldn't win that race based upon everything that he's done at that particular racetrack. It's just that's the only one that really sticks out to me that says, okay, if there's one racetrack and one driver that stick out, it's Kyle Larson at Homestead. So the rest of it can go a number of different ways.
All right, we'll go next to Deb Williams.
Deb Williams, Auto Week. Kevin, the 2024 schedule came out this year, and you're not having to look at it as a driver now. You get to look at it as a TV analyst. So how do you look at the schedule differently? Do the, oh, heck, why did they do this moment translate into, gee, this is going to be a cool thing to call? Or how do you look at it differently now that your role's changing?
I look at it as June 9th. What am I going to do with my time? I'm going to send Bob a text and say, hey, Bob, what's going on this weekend? Yeah, I like the fact that they keep mixing it up. I like the fact that the rounds are different. I like the fact that the racetracks are different. I like the fact that I really like the fact that we're going to Iowa. I think as you look at that, adding another short track and just a unique facility that you can go and race at. I think it's as you go and go to some of those different places and put things in different places. I don't like things being the same. I know the first half of the season is a little bit different at the beginning, but pretty much, a lot of it's the same, except for California Speedway not being in there and Atlanta being second. And so you when you look at the playoffs and you see another super speedway race, what I would call a super speedway race at Atlanta, I think that's interesting with the number, 2 of the 10 super speedway races being in the playoffs and the Roval still being in the playoffs and having 2 road courses. So to me, you have 4 of the 10 races that are on non-traditional ovals or short tracks. And so, I think that's a pretty high number in my opinion. So it'll be fun to watch and see how it all plays out. But I love the fact that they keep mixing it up. I like that. I like change.
All right, we're going to take 2 more questions. We're going to come up front to Bruce, and then we're going to go back in this corner over here.
Bruce Martin with Speed Sport and Forbes. Your TV career, what type of analyst do you think you're going to be? You've always been a guy who's not afraid to offer your opinion. There have been some former professional athletes that have gone to the booth and maybe don't offer their opinion as much, but how do you just think you will be in that role as a commentator? Because you probably have some pretty good lines that you can use on some of these guys.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the guys and gals that drive the cars and work in the garage know that I'm going to give my opinion and I'm going to tell them what I think, and then if they want to talk about it, I have no problem talking about it either, because I'm always open to hearing what somebody else sees, because the way I see it is what I'm going to say. And I think as you listen, and especially now sitting with some of the drivers and people, they see it differently, and I think that's great to be able to listen to that. But it just comes out of my mouth with what I see and how it plays out, and sometimes that might be wrong, but I'm not going to be afraid to say that. It just has to be. It has to be sitting on the couch with your friends and watching a race and telling it like it is. And I think that's the best way to go about it and be honest about it. But, I think that part will be interesting because, I think as you watch it and see it and talk about it and watch it evolve and change. And I think to me that part will be fun, but right is right and wrong is wrong. So there's no reason to beat around the bush. I'm not smart enough to remember what I'm trying to cover up. So we'll just get right to it.
Go ahead.
Chase Folsom, FrontStretch.com. Kevin, ahead of this weekend, NASCAR made the decision to add stage cautions back to this race, and they also moved the restart zone into the chicane. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you think it'll affect the racing?
I think the restart stuff has been, it's helped the pileups and in turn one on the restart. So I think that's worked good at the places that we've been able to do that. I think with as much green flag racing as we had in all the previous stage races or the previous events, I think the stages coming back obviously puts some cautions back into the race and not having the races get so strung out. So I think that all that has worked out well. And once again, it's just not being shy about making changes when it's not working for the fans, and just it has to be appealing to watch. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Thank you.
Kevin, thank you for your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Just a quick announcement for the media.